Hey YouTube, it's Wes. Less than 24 hours remain from the notorious hacking group LockBit, who has allegedly gone after and supposedly, according to them, successfully attacked the Federal Reserve. This sounds astounding, it sounds incredible. We've seen a lot of hacks happen over the past year, well, let's be honest, decades really, but in this attack, if it's allegedly true, there's some enormous, absolutely huge implications, and we're going to unpack all of that in this video. So first of all, was the Federal Reserve really hacked? You know, the folks that sort of issue out current monetary policy and sort of have control of the entire US banking system? Well, we don't exactly know. We're not exactly sure. It's not that we can fully trust the hacking group LockBit. I mean, hey, let's be honest, we can't fully trust a whole bunch of criminals here, can we? But they have published on their leak site, allegedly, 33 terabytes of data, or at least, let's be honest, let's claim it this way. They have said that they've stolen 33 terabytes of data, and they're going to leak it unless the Federal Reserve pays up. So let's take a couple little bits of news articles here and see what we're talking about. This comes in from SC Media. Deadline looms for alleged LockBit extortion of Fed Reserve data, 33 terabytes. So brings up a lot of questions, doesn't it? First of all, how on earth could 33 terabytes of data be leaked without the Federal Reserve knowing it? How good is the Federal Reserve security program? And also, we know that any company can be attacked. So it brings up a lot of questions. And we're going to answer as many of those questions as we know, and we're going to continue to track the news on this on our channel. So they say less than 24 hours remain. And there's been a lot of things that have come out. First of all, if you don't know LockBit, they are a very notorious hacking outfit. They've gone after enormously large numbers of folks well known and those that have never been heard of before. They give a list here in the article itself. And we see that there's a lot of things happening here, right? Here is their actual post. This is a screenshot of LockBit's backend, dark web, leak site is the best way to say it. And so we can see that they're claiming to have this data. They're claiming to have information from the Federal Reserve. Now that's significant, right? Because these are the folks that control all of our monetary system and monetary policy in the US government. And we all know the US dollar drives not just the US economy, but the world economy. Let's call it what it is. So if they were actually to be attacked, this would have enormous implications. It's not like a hospital being hit. It's not like some kind of tech company being hit. Although significant for those, this would be a new order of magnitude. See, it makes folks wonder. As a security person, we can kind of look the other way when it's small company being hit, but if it's someone of the magnitude of the Federal Reserve, the implications are just much higher. So let's take a look at another article that came in as well. This came in from Red Hot Cyber. This has been linked on multiple Reddit posts as well. LockBit 3.0 claims attack on the Federal Reserve, 33 terabytes. Once again, same exact thing, same exact look. But this all apparently was notified on June 23rd. So just yesterday, they notified that they had stolen all this information, gave very little data. One of the things that they did claim, and I think this is pretty interesting, apparently there has been already some amount of negotiation, and my guess is the negotiation went south. And once the negotiation went south between, again, allegedly according to LockBit, the Federal Reserve and their negotiator and LockBit themselves, look what happened in this article. Let me go back so you can take a peek at what they said. Again, we're trusting bad guys here and what they're saying, but they gave them, I think they finally said, you know what, we're done negotiating. You have 48 hours, 2 days left, and we want a new negotiator. They called them a clinical idiot, quote unquote. I don't know exactly what that means, but a clinical idiot for valuing American banking secrecy at $50,000. So apparently that's what the negotiator was claiming to give back. And you know, here's the thing: the federal government has said forever, don't pay the ransom. But sneakily behind the scenes, hey, look, if you got to pay the ransom, we understand, but try not to. So in this case, I mean, what does it look like for the federal government to say, yeah, we're going to pay the ransom ourselves? That's colossally embarrassing for them, right? It's really one thing. It's everyone's going to look at the government and say, well, you've been saying forever, don't pay the ransom, and then you yourself paid the ransom. So again, we just don't have enough information here. We don't know if any of this is true. We also don't know to what degree of significance. Was the Federal Reserve actually hacked, or was it some kind of supply chain attack? Was it something far more than this? You know, there's been several attacks. One I've covered already. Microsoft has had some significant issues in the news lately. Go back and watch a couple of videos at the very end of this. In the end card, I'll link to it if you want to go watch it. Microsoft has been hit by some stuff. Also, we saw that Snowflake as a company was hit I haven't covered that in this channel. I certainly can if folks want me to, but it's entirely possible that some of this data was obtained through third or fourth party means, and that the Federal Reserve is caught up in the middle of this. And once LockBit got a hold of it, they're simply going after Federal Reserve directly. That is directly in their MO. That is directly something that LockBit might do. So I want to end with this right here, this tweet that came out from VX Underground. Again, I'll link to this one as well. I'm a big fan of VX Underground and what all they do. Look what they say here. So they're saying yesterday, LockBit ransomware group claimed to have ransomed the U.S. Federal Reserve. One doubt. So they're like, before we even go on, we're not so sure about that. Yeah, I don't think that has happened, they have said. And again, I think we should cast doubt. I think we should come back and say, I'm not so sure about this. We're not going to just jump to trusting bad guys. Now, we're going to see what happens when they release, if they release here in less than 24 hours, all of the Federal Reserve data, the 33 terabytes. We'll see. We'll see what the relevance is. We just don't know yet. But if they do, that might change the operating calculus of all of this. But going back to the article, look what it says here. If LockBit ransomware group actually ransomed the United States federal gov, it would be DEFCON 2, and the admins would need to worry about a drone strike, right? So VX Underground is, I'd say they're speaking in a little bit of hyperbole here, but I think they're right in the sense of if the Federal Reserve directly were hacked, I mean, that's a lot different than going after a small hospital. Not saying that a small hospital doesn't matter, but saying this is a totally different order of magnitude. They even call it DEFCON 2. So if you don't understand what DEFCON, I mean, we all say the words DEFCON. We have a security conference called DEFCON Defense Conference. But look here, here's the actual levels. DEFCON 2, according to Wikipedia, is next step to nuclear war, armed forces ready to deploy within 6 hours. Yeah, I kind of doubt it. I don't really think that we're at DEFCON 2 if this were to happen. But you see VX Underground's point. Their whole point is, I don't think this is true. It's probably LockBit positioning. They got the data elsewhere. But if they actually did hack them, oh my goodness, get ready. We are at DEFCON level 2, next step to nuclear war. Again, hyperbole. But it would be significant. It definitely raises the ante. And that brings up the last thought that I want to have on this video, which is simply this. At what point does the US government say enough is enough? At what point do our own companies on US soil taking damages from cyber attacks, at what point do we say enough is enough? And if you're listening to this today and you're a non-technical decision maker, at what point do you say enough is enough? At what point does your company jump in and say, we're done? We've got to invest. We've got to care about security. We've got to report on it. We've got to build maturity on it. At some point, we have to start drawing the lines in the sand. We'll never be 100% security perfect, no doubt. But there's a lot of us that could do a lot more than we're currently doing. Last week, we covered the CDK attack. I might jump into that again tomorrow. But my goodness, what an illustrative example of when we don't invest in security maturity, bad things can happen. And when bad things happen, then we get put under the eye of the microscope. And everyone looks through what we're doing with a fine-tooth critical comb, and things don't always come out so good. So that's the last thought I had for you today, is what are you doing about all of this? See, security is not just an issue for the federal government or the Federal Reserve. It's an issue for you and me. So I want to know in the comments, what do you think about it as well? Make sure you share this with your other folks, with your non-technical decision makers. Help them understand this is big stuff. What would you do if you got caught in the crosshairs of LockBit? What would you do if you're being covered on CBS News, VX Underground, Recorded Future, CBS News? How would you handle that? We all need to be prepared for those ramifications and for those types of news events. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. We'll see what happens. We'll continue to track this for the rest of today and into tomorrow. Thanks.